Everyone, please unmute. Kim Phúc, can you please unmute? Can you please put your hand at your chest? Okay, now we will say together, good evening, Venerable Sir. Okay, everyone, can you say together one more time? Good evening, Venerable Sir. Can you say again? Good evening, Venerable Sir.
You would say, hello, Venerable Sir. But I didn't hear almost anyone. I can hear Tutam, but I cannot hear anyone else.
Everyone, can you please say together one more time? Hello, Venerable Sir.
Hello, Venerable Sir.
Yeah. Okay. Something's wrong with the sound. I can hear always just 2 or 3 people. But when we had the children, I could hear, oh, wow, so many people are saying. But here I hear like 2, 3 people. Okay, no problem. Fine. So, let's start with meditation. So we'll take today, let's take 5 minutes meditation. So now everybody can, mute yourself and make sure that your legs, hands and face are well visible in the video. Phuc Bao may need to adjust his camera. I cannot see your legs properly. Phuc Bao. Yes, and your sitting is wrong. So it would be better actually if you keep your camera on something high, like on a stool or on a bed or a table. Min Quoc, your sitting posture is not correct. When we meditate, we actually do not sit in this way. Then you could have some problem with your legs. Instead, you can keep both of the legs on the floor like this, or if you like, you can place your foot between the thigh and the calf. Okay. Alright, others, I think everything is fine. Still waiting for Phuc Bao. Phuc Bao, you are still keeping your camera low. Can you please keep it on something high, like on a table or on a chair? Probably on a chair would be the best. Not yet. Needs to be higher. I need to, ideally I see you from above. Then I can clearly check your legs. Yeah. And now you see, if it is from above, I will be able to see the legs, hands and face also. So as we are sitting in our comfortable meditation posture, make sure your back is erect, side cast down, and we can make the first determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, for 5 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 5 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 5 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. And with that determination, we can gently, lovingly notice the flat piece of flesh at the top of the head. We allow it to be heavy. We continue to the forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ears, back of the head, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the head to be heavy. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, and we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the upper part of the body to be heavy. We don't force them or expect them to be heavy at all. We just accept that fact that they already now weigh something. We continue to the buttocks, thighs, knees, calves, heels, soles, toes, tips of toes, and we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the body to be heavy. And we can enjoy this heaviness. We can enjoy this peace. And we can share our peace with other living beings in our minds voicelessly. We can wish, we can allow. May all beings, including me, be in peace. May all beings, including me, be in peace. Now, because the time for this sitting is finished, let's make the last determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. And with that determination, we can slowly, mindfully change the way of our sitting. Alright, so make sure you're sitting in your secondary posture, that is the mermaid's posture. So I will ask Luong Min Tuan to also sit in the secondary posture very well. And Duk Tai, can you sit in your secondary posture or the resting posture? Okay, that's pretty good. Very well. So now we will ask you a question. How many times did you meditate during the last 7 days? Please everybody come close to your device so that you can easily answer. Look at your device, a question should be there, and now you can tell us. We're still waiting for 3 of you, so check your device and answer as soon as you can. Very well. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So now we have about 75% of you actually did meditate 5 or more times. So I'm very happy. I'm very proud of you all. Well done. Some of you did not, but that statistically will always be like that. And those of you who did not meditate at least 5 times during the last 7 days, I would like to encourage you to meditate all 7 days. Somehow make your plan in such a way that you have the same time, same place for meditation every single day. One way or another, try to find it out. You may need to negotiate with some other people who maybe disturb you or who make it difficult. Well, that's the way it is. Life is difficult. That's part of that's necessary characteristic of life, so, or of human life. So it is very good if you can make some effort and hopefully improve the conditions so you can meditate every day. So I would like to ask everybody who meditated all of the seven days to raise your Zoom hand right now, please. So I'm waiting. I'm asking everybody who meditated all of the 7 days, the last 7 days, to raise your Zoom hand, please. Okay, we have what we have. By percentage, actually, it looks much more. So I would like to ask Luong Min Tuan, did you already meditate every day before you started this course?
Yeah.
Very well. So what kind of practice did you follow, and for how long time have you been already meditating every day?
I follow, I think, no breathing. You focus on your breathing.
Okay. And how long time have you been meditating that way?
When I was around 11 years old.
Now, how old are you now?
14.
I see. So it's been about 3 years that you've been meditating on breath, right? Every single day?
Yeah.
That's excellent. Well done. Thank you. What makes it possible? What empowers you so that you meditate every day?
I just meditate at night. I meditate 10 minutes and then I go to sleep.
I see. So it has become an integral part of your sleeping process.
Yes.
Very well. Thank you. Huang Chi, did you already meditate every day before you started this course? I cannot hear you.
No, I haven't.
Yes, if you come very close to the camera, I can hear you. I think that's why I didn't hear most of you when I came here today. You were far from your camera, so I could not hear you. So Hong Chi, when you're answering to me, please kindly come close to the camera and talk very loudly. So, so these days, however, you are successful and you are meditating every day, right? What helps you most in meditating so that you can meditate every day? I cannot hear you. You must come close to the camera and speak loudly.
I had a time when at 10 I will meditate every day.
You meditate at 10 a.m. or p.m.?
PM.
I see. Okay. So you go to sleep right after meditation? Okay. So you've actually connected your meditation to your sleeping. So it has become a natural part of your sleeping? Nice. Very well. Thank you. Now I will ask Duke Tai, right? Duke Tai. So did you meditate every day before you started this course? I cannot hear you. Can you please repeat it?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Can you
So did you
repeat
meditate?
your
So did you meditate every day already before you started following this course of Buddhism?
um
Or I will ask you in a different way. Did you meditate every day also last year? Diktai. You are muted. So, did you meditate every day also last year?
yes.
Ah, yes. How long a time have you been meditating every day?
I have been meditating every day about um, about uh, 1 year.
About 1 year. Nice. So, what helps you to maintain your meditation every day?
Mm, I think meditation um help me relax in life and uh, mm,
So, Diktai, your meditation helps you to be more relaxed in your life, and that is what empowers you to meditate every day? Diktai, can you hear me well?
yes, I'm here.
So, can you answer my question? Diktai, we are all waiting for your answer.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know? So, you just a while ago you said that meditation helps you to relax. Did I understand it right?
Oh, yes.
Nice. Is that the reason why you meditate every day?
Um, oh, I think it's made me relax because I
So
feel
is that the reason why you meditate every day? Diktai, do you understand clearly my English?
no one understand.
I think so. I think so. Diktai, you would probably benefit more if you follow a Vietnamese class because you will need to know English very, very well as we get deeper and deeper into Dhamma. So consider that. Okay, nice. So thank you, everybody. Now we will be looking at your homework. So I will ask Tutam to let me. Yes, here I see it. So Timo. So I will ask those three people to raise their hand. Raise your Zoom hand, please. Timo, Đức Lâm, Tưởng Chi. What is the page? Well, you have it in the Facebook group. Timo, do you have access to the Facebook group?
No, I don't have the access to a Facebook group.
So, do you know how to how to make a bookmark in your browser?
Yes.
Yes. So I will send you the link to the Facebook group where you need to submit your homework. You probably do it or somebody is doing it for you. So then whenever you want to know what are those pages, you just go to that website and you will know right away, because I write it in big letters, in every post where you send the homework. So if you follow that link, it should take you to the group for grade 4. And then the newest post will have clearly stated the page numbers. Can you see it?
Yeah, I see.
Nice. So, Timo, do you think you can make it a bookmark? Do you know how to make it a bookmark in your bookmark bar?
Yeah, I know how to make it.
Nice. So do it right away so that next time you immediately know. I do it like that. I have my bookmark bar has so many so many icons that I have to have the names very, very little so that all of those icons can be there. All right. So Timo, we will probably show you your homework, right? To Tom, you can show it. You can share the screen. And so Timo, you can read it from the screen, or you can read it from your paper, whatever is comfortable.
Yes, Bante. That Timo has known in the Facebook group. So I can show the homework from Tung Chi and Đức Lâm. That Timo.
Well, I see there are 16 comments in the post. Can you see it? If you click on the word comments, 16 comments right below the picture, then it will help you to see all of the comments. So then you will see that many people actually make, I think more people made the homework than how many actually came for the class. Because some of you know that you need to attend all classes, but you actually just need to do homework, and that counts as attendance. So it seems that the students have clearly understood that, and so when they cannot come, at least they make homework, and so we are all happy. So now you found out how to access all the comments to Tom?
Yes, Bante.
Got it. Good.
Yes, Bante.
I do not see Timo's homework though. So why did you choose Timo to read his homework?
Yeah, Bante, I just randomly choose.
You just randomly chose.
Other student that didn't read homework. Yes,
I
Bante.
see. So Timo, do you have homework from pages 51 to 60? Did you read those pages? Timo? I cannot hear you. You're muted.
I haven't done it.
You haven't done it. Okay. Up to what page did you read the book?
To like page 50.
Until page 50. Okay. Do you think you will be able to read until 70 until the next class?
Yes.
Okay, very well. So hopefully you can make it, and instead of Timo, we will choose someone else. Who will that be, Tutam?
Minh Quách,
Okay.
Minh Quách.
Very well. So I would like to ask
please raise your hand.
Min Kwak to raise her Zoom hand. Yes, thank you. So let's start with Tung Chi.
So, dear Bante, I have to read the sentence, right?
Yes, actually, I see you wrote so much. I would appreciate if you just write 2 sentences from all of the text that you share with us. You can, of course, copy it all if you want. This is a public domain book. Or you can make a large, elaborate, colorful, complicated, beautiful, powerful notes, but share with us only 2 sentences in the Facebook post. Okay? Tumchi. All right. Thank you. So for the time being, because that's what we have, can you please just read 1 sentence that you wrote?
One should be bold and sincere and look at one's mind as we look at one's face in the mirror.
Oh, that's the last one for page 52. Okay, nice. Thank you very much. And we can continue to Duklam.
Yes.
Yeah, please wait. We are searching for your homework. Next time, Tutang will be better prepared. We are still all learning how to resolve technical things.
Yes, Bante. Yes, Bante.
No problem. So let's find Duklam. Duklam, do you have your homework? Did you share it with us in the Facebook group?
Yes.
You did not share it with us. Well then how can we show it? All right, so that means we cannot show it. So we are listening.
In page 51, you cannot escape life, however you may try. As long as you live whatever in town or in the cave, you have to face it with life each. And in page 56, the common belief that to follow the Buddha's each one has retired from life misposition.
Diklam, do you have actually access to our Facebook group? Do you know that you need to share your homework in the group? You're muted. I cannot hear you. Diklam, yes.
I just screenshot it.
So did you know it or not?
Yes, I just joined the group. I don't know why it's just publishing jobs.
Did you share your homework in the post? Diklam, did you share your homework in our last post?
Yes.
Under what name did you share it? Under one of your 10 names, but we know only one your name. Okay, so you need to use always the same name in your Zoom and in your homework. So what is your name there? Can you actually find your homework there?
Yes.
So what is the name that you use there?
Nguyễn Văn Đức Lâm and no
I see the last one, Devante. Sorry, Devante. The last one in the comments.
Oh, because yes. So finally you found it, yes. Because yes. So I would like to ask Duklam to always call yourself Duklam only, all right? So that next time you can easily find it. If you want to use the whole name, you will need to use the whole name in the homework and also here in Zoom. Okay?
Okay.
Nice.
I don't know who just changed my name.
Somebody changed your name?
Yes.
Where? In Zoom or in the homework?
In Zoom. I just Like my name is full my name, but someone changed my name into Duklam only.
Probably
know.
because you did not use diacritics.
Devante,
I see.
Devante,
Yes,
sorry, Devante.
Diklam,
Is
we have a little rule that your names must contain all of the little lines and smileys and hooks and all of those things must be there in your name, so that when I read your name, I do not say something that's impolite. So I don't know what could it mean something else if I don't read it right? So I cannot read it just right unless I see the diacritics. So you need to show, you need to nicely type your full name with the diacritics. For example, in homework, you did not do that. In homework, it actually doesn't matter, but in Zoom, it does, because I am supposed to read your name. So I need to know how to read your name. I don't know Vietnamese. I just recently learned how to read it, or I learned how to try to read it. So I have instructed the organizers to actually change the students' names in order that they are readable even for me. But I would like to now ask the organizers to always maintain all of the name, all right? Because then we'll run to a problem where we have different name in Zoom and in homework. Okay, nice. Let's move on. So Min Kwak, can you please read for us your homework? And do we have it in the Facebook group?
Nick, what did you post your homework in the comments?
No.
I see. Do you have access to the Facebook group?
No.
I see. I have sent a link to the Facebook group in the chat box. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please open it and tell us whether you can view the Facebook page or group?
I can.
Tutam, you know what you can do on Saturday or Friday, you can set up some good time for that. This would be for about 10 minutes if you develop your system. You can go to the Facebook group, write down the list of names who already published the homework, and then you need to find out who did not. And then in the Viber group, you just write, these and these people did not send us their homework yet. Please do it now. So that they already know that something's wrong, and you can add the link, to the homework, to the post, so that they can immediately go there, find out what are those pages, and hopefully do their homework on time. You will also know who you can select for reading their homework.
Yes, the
Yeah.
organizers also like checks on Friday and remind, but just revise in the Zero group.
You
Is
remind
it
in
that,
Zello
like-
group. So what about the Burmese
Yes.
students who don't use Zello?
Yes, I will change the way we work.
Yeah, you
And
need
they
to do
will
it in
remind
Viber
the Viber
because
group. Yes,
we have Burmese
Yes,
students. All right. So
yes, Monday.
I saw Jeffrey coming. Do we still have Jeffrey? I don't see Jeffrey anymore. He came and then he left. He's Burmese. Isabella is Burmese. Timo is Burmese. And that's all for now. But I think we also had two young men from UK, right?
Yes,
Were they? Yes, Max and Jake. They're not joining us anymore, but Max and Jake, they're also Burmese. All right, so we have quite a few Burmese, so please do not neglect them and share all information in Viber only. Okay?
Yes, Monday. Yes, Monday.
All right, so Min Kwak, I'm listening.
Not generally live in their actions in the past. Though they seem to be doing something now, yeah, they live somewhere else in their thought, in their imaginary problems, usually in the negative path. Therefore, they do not live in, nor do they enjoy what they do at the moment.
Okay, thank you. What is the page number?
51.
51. Nice. Thank you very much. All right, so that's for homework. Now, I see there is a question. What would happen if we didn't follow one of the Buddha's instruction for life? Instruction for life on page 55. So let me see what's that. Oh, there, instructions for life. That is a summary. There are many more. If you ever made a list like this, it would be a little bit difficult because the Buddha did not provide a list that would be complete. There is a list like this in a way, but not really list, in the so-called Singalovada Sutta. And even the Singalovada Sutta, the discourse to Singala, in there the Buddha provides rather instructions for businessmen. So needs to be a business and needs to be a man. So the instructions there are for businessmen. Well, because he's talking to a businessman. That's what he was. So he's talking to the person according to what the person needs. When he's talking to ladies, he's giving instructions that are suitable for those listeners. And the most extensive instruction for life is given to the businessman Singala. So the Buddha, for example, provides an economic solution, an economic suggestion on how do you deal with your earnings. So he says, Singala, when you get money, then you need to divide them into 4 portions. 4 portions. 1 for you, 1 for your wife, 1 for your workers, and 1 for monks and ascetics. Actually, it's not like that. The portion that's for you is to make your savings. So you actually have nothing for yourself. So you keep 1 portion for your wife, 1 portion for your savings, 1 portion for your workers, and 1 portion for monks and ascetics. So that is the suggestion from the Buddha. Well, if you are not a businessman, well, then you probably don't have workers, right? So how will you then divide your earnings into 4 portions, and to who will you give the portion for your workers, right? So it becomes a little complicated as soon as you are not Singala. And except Singala, nobody is Singala. So what shall you do? Well, you can read that discourse and you can be inspired. You can see if there is something inspiring for you in your life, something helpful. And then based on that, you can try it out. And then you will see whether it works for you. Maybe it will not work for you. Maybe it will. So you can take the Buddha's teachings rather as recommendations, as opportunities, rather than that you must follow this, because except some special cases, the Buddha is usually teaching to the specific listener, and therefore the instructions are given to the specific listener based on the specific listener's situation and their possibilities and their enthusiasm and so on. So let's look at the instructions for life here in the book. Take into account that great love and great achievements involve great risk. Well, this could be unpacked in various ways. Great love and great achievements. Why could it be unpacked in the various ways? Because great love and great achievements can be great love for your wife or for the woman or man of your dreams, and great achievements can be related to having a lot of money and a beautiful car and a big house. But great love also could be love for all living beings and the enthusiasm to support everyone to be happy, healthy, long living, and successful in everything they do. Great achievement could also mean the achievement in removing greed, hatred, ignorance, and achieving the ultimate wisdom of the Four Noble Truths. So, what is great love? What is great achievement in the instruction for life? I don't know. But you probably will have to choose one. Number 2, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. I totally don't remember ever reading this. That's amazing. I asked you to read something that is quite challenging for me, to support by scriptures. When you lose, don't lose the lesson. Well, at least you can take this as to be mindful. So if you're mindful, then even when you're not successful, at least you learn and you understand why you were not successful, or at least you will increase the chance that you learn why you were not successful. So it's more about the mindfulness rather than about the craving that you must learn something. Number 3, follow the 3 R's: respect for self, respect for others, and responsibility for all your actions. Well, that's good. Number 4, remember that not getting what you want is sometimes a wonderful stroke of luck. Not really. Not really. If you don't get what you want, it means you're unlucky, and that's always like that. But instead, try to reduce what you want. That's a better approach. Okay, number 5, learn the rules. Everybody, we can share the screen, right? So, Tutam, can you please share the screen? Or shall I do it? I can do that. I have it ready. I have it ready. It's easier for me. And also the people will see my mouse. So remember, that's done. Learn the rules so you know how to break them properly. I totally don't know that this is in the book. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, it's not bad, but it definitely needs a lot of unpacking so that you don't come into wrong understanding. So learn the rules so you know how to break them properly. You definitely need to understand how the world works. Only when you know how the world works, you will be able to achieve success. So if you know that you need to know good people, then you need to just make those acquaintances. You need to learn how to communicate with people so that they're friendly to you and supportive of what you do. Somehow, one way or another, you need to learn it, or you will not be successful. It's that simple. You probably do not have your own farm. You're not growing your own vegetables and fruits. You probably do not have your own rice fields. You probably do not have your own money-making machine. You probably do not have your own clothes-making loom. You probably don't have them. Instead, you will need to approach some people and get those things from the people. be it in the shop or be it, by private deal. So you are dependent on people, and therefore you need to have the skill of communicating with them. And so those are the roles. Well, breaking rules, you probably never need to break a rule if you know how the rule works. So you can call that breaking if you think, but I don't call that breaking. I call that using the exceptions. Every rule has an exception. Following an exception of rule is not breaking the rule. Breaking the rule is disregarding is simply disregarding the rule, going beyond the exceptions. So break them properly means use the exceptions, but in that case it's actually not breaking. Don't let a little dispute injure a great friendship. That also is challenging, because you definitely need to engage in a dispute if that dispute is related to truth. You cannot allow your friend to continue killing, stealing, committing adultery, telling lies, drinking alcohol. You cannot do that, even if it costs you a dispute, even if it costs you the friendship. No, you shouldn't do that. You just help your friend. But of course, that's why you go to school and you study a lot of books and you get a degree and another degree and another degree, and you learn various skills and you listen to what people say and you try to find out more and more knowledge, so that not only you can help your friend stop drinking and telling lies and adultery, that means cheating, and stealing and killing, but also you maintain the friendship with your friend. When you realize you've made a mistake, take immediate steps to correct it. Maybe, but sometimes that's not possible. So most importantly, if you made a mistake, for example, you broke one of the 5 rules, it is good to come to a person who follows the 5 rules. That person are most importantly Buddhist monks who follow their rules. You will find many Buddhist monks who don't follow rules, but there are Buddhist monks who follow rules. For example, I follow all of the rules. So if you know of Buddhist monks who follow all of the rules, tell them, Venerable Sir, I killed a mosquito. Or Venerable Sir, I told a lie. Or Venerable Sir, I drank alcohol. You need to do that. Then when you do it, the Venerable Sir will encourage you or motivate you or support you in not breaking it again. So it's good if you make a mistake to tell it to someone who does not make that mistake. And that actually is understood as making immediate steps to correct it. Sometimes you will not be able to correct it, So if you if you unintentionally injure someone, or if you unintentionally break another person's property, you may not be able to correct it. But you may be able to tell them that you're sorry and make a plan that it doesn't happen next time. Spend some time alone every day. That's a good one. Open your arms to change, but don't let go of your values. You definitely must let go of your values that are not in accordance with the Buddha's teachings. You must destroy them, burn them, drown them, remove them, squash them, pulverize them. Okay? Your values that are not in accordance with the Buddha's teachings must go away. There is no space. So open your arms to change and remove all of your values that are not in accordance with the Buddha's teachings. Don't let go of your values that are in accordance with the Buddha's teachings. Remember that silence is sometimes the best answer. That's true. Live a good, honorable life. Then when you get older and think back, you'll be able to enjoy it a second time. I cannot understand who wrote this. Doesn't look Buddhist at all. Anyway, live a good, honorable life, that's of course, but not only that you can think back on your honorable life later when you're old, but most importantly, because you live good, honorable life by following the 5 precepts, you are able to enjoy merit. You are able to enjoy the consequences of your good deeds in this life and in the next life, not just by thinking back, but by enjoying abundance of delicious food, abundance of most luxurious places to stay, esteem, honor, respect, support, trust, and love. A loving atmosphere in your home is the foundation for your life. That's not true, but it definitely helps. And you are the one who is empowered to do it in Buddhism. Other people will say, no, you cannot. But in Buddhism, you can. And there are tricks for that. There is magic and power to do that. But we'll probably discuss that later. In disagreements with loved ones, deal only with the current situation. Don't bring up the past. Maybe. Depends. You will need to decide whether bringing up the past is helpful or not. Sometimes it is necessary. But I've never read about this in our scriptures. Share your knowledge. It's a way to achieve immortality. That's true. Be gentle with the earth. That's nice. Not in our scriptures though. Our scriptures do not say anything about ecology, because at those times there was abundance of trees, abundance of air, and also abundance of famine. So at those times it was much more difficult than today. But at the same time, people did not have problem lumbering too much or dumping too much of waste or things like this. So we do not have, the scriptures are not clear about what to do in terms of ecology. Once a year, go someplace you've never been before. How is this an instruction for life? Remember that the best relationship is one in which your love for each other exceeds your need for each other. Well, then love for each other would have to be defined. It's not defined here, so it's not clear. The best relationship is complicated. You cannot just say love like this and you have a best relationship. No, that it doesn't work like that. The Buddha has provided instructions for the best relationship, and it definitely is not 1 point. It is about 5 or 7. For example, you must not reveal secrets of your good friend. An interesting thing. You may think, oh, I love my friend so much, so I will I will share his secret or her secret with someone else. But you actually must not do that if you want to maintain your best relationship. Also, you must support your friend with whatever they need. And when you're adult, you need to take care of their children if there is any need for that. And so on and on and on. If they get drunk, or if they're not mindful or if they are ill, you take care of their property so that nobody steals them. And so on and on. So there are quite a few things. We will probably discuss that later, either this year or next year. Judge your success by what you had to give up in order to get it. No, don't judge your success at all. I think I will have to cross out some things that I don't like in here. Okay, I'll probably do it another time because our class actually finished 4 minutes ago. So be careful about these instructions for life. Instructions for life that are coming from this course are 5. No killing, no stealing, no cheating on your wife or husband if you have one. Probably most of you don't. No telling lies, and no drinking alcohol. These are 5 instructions for life. They are 10, but I'm telling you 5 because that's where you can start. Later maybe we will get to the 10. Anyone has any idea, anything you would like to share with me, any question? Skeptical doubt. Skeptical doubt is when you are skeptically doubting. It is when you are a skeptic, that means you don't want to immediately accept an idea that is very different from yours. So when you are reluctant, when you are not open to accept an idea that's different from yours, then that we can call that skepticism. Especially skepticism is related to things that are weird. So if somebody tells you, I saw my granny flying in the air, and you say, I would like to see that, then that means you're a skeptic. You're not ready to accept it, but you are ready to find out. Skeptic is not a person who's a denier. A denier and skeptic is different. Skeptic is one who wants to find out and who has clear understanding why they reject or why probably they should reject. A denier is someone who doesn't care, just deny. Also, skeptics are usually mainstream. So you would be, if you are skeptic, you're someone who accepts the mainstream idea. For example, that COVID comes from China. If someone tells you, oh, COVID was actually manufactured by Bill Gates, and you say, I don't think so, well, then you are a skeptic. But if you want to find out why, then you are a real skeptic. If you just say, no, that's not true, Bill Gates did not do that, well, then you are actually still skeptic because you're maintaining the mainstream. If you instead believe that Bill Gates manufactured COVID and you don't want to accept the mainstream, then you are actually a denier. So more often when you will see these two terms, denier and skeptic, skeptic is someone who believes the mainstream, that means the majority of official decision, usually those are governmental decisions. So if the government decides COVID is coming from China and you believe that, and you don't want to believe something else, you're a skeptic. If, however, you believe something that the government does not accept, such as that Bill Gates manufactured COVID, and you are not ready to accept what the government says, then you are a denier. All right? In both cases, you can decide to be a wise skeptic or a intelligent denier. We would not call deniers wise. They're always weird from the skeptical point of view. Hopefully now you understand. It's a very complicated thing because for deniers, they have their truth. That's their world in which they live. And skeptics have their world, and it's different. It's actually opposite to the one of the deniers. Well, for deniers, it's very obvious. Of course, Bill Gates manufactured COVID. How would you ever think that it comes from China? It's never happened. That's their world. And then there are skeptics. And they say, what? Are you kidding? Of course it's coming from China. Everybody knows that it's coming from China. You see? Two different worlds. but they live their world. It is part of their daily experience because that's how they think. So deniers, skeptics. Now, if there is a skeptical, what's the question? I lost. Oh, here, skeptical doubt. So if you're a skeptic, that means you follow the mainstream, and you have a doubt, that means you are not sure. You're not sure whether the denier is right or not. Well, then you are having a skeptical doubt. You are doubting the denier's proposition. Regarding Buddhism, this will be even more complicated when it comes to religions, because of course religions are different from mainstream, because there is no mainstream. In this world, there is no mainstream on religion. You cannot say, oh, being humanist is actually mainstream. No, it's not. Because if there is anything mainstream, then it's Christianity. But nobody understands except Christians. Nobody understands Christians and Christianity as mainstream. Modern science shows that Christianity really doesn't make sense. So it is not mainstream if you believe in science. But if you're a Christian, then for you, Christianity is mainstream, because Christians are taking the largest population of the world are Christians, not humanists, not Buddhists or Muslims. No, not at all. Mainstream would be Christianity, but it's not, because mainstream implies that, I would say mainstream is at least more than 75%. If it's more than 75% people believe something, then that's my idea, my understanding, I would call that mainstream. Then the 25% would be the deniers, those who deny the mainstream idea. But for religions, there is no mainstream. Nobody can say, oh, mainstream idea is that there is one God. No, because it's not. Okay? But that's the case of religion. It's like that always. So in religion, it's a little difficult to talk about skeptics or deniers, because in that case, scientists would be a skeptic from the scientist's point of view, but he is actually a denier from the Buddhist point of view. Because for Buddhism is the mainstream. Because billions of people believe, 400 million of people follow Buddhism. About a half a billion people follow Buddhism. That's a lot. That's totally enough for calling it mainstream inside that community. And if you take it from Myanmar, for example, or Sri Lanka or Thailand, well, then mainstream there is Buddhism and nothing else, ever. So, as you can see, it's a little difficult to talk about skepticism and or denying when it comes to religions. But skeptical doubt today usually is coming from the scientist's point of view. So if majority of scientists do not want to accept something, we will call it skeptical doubt. Venerable Sir, please everybody learn the spelling of writing venerable. It is VENERABLE. Okay? Venerable. It comes from the word venerate or respect. Okay? Venerable means respectable. It's the same thing. So, Venerable Sir, could you check your... okay, that's a private message. Dear Venerable Sir, how do we know Buddhism preaches truth while other religions and beliefs speak the same? I don't understand. What do you mean? Do other religions speak the same? And what is the same thing that they speak? I will ask Fu Bao. Yes, I'm listening. What is the same thing that other religions believe? Can you hear me? Are you here with us? Phu Bao.
Mình can hear you, Phúc Bảo.
So that's complicated. Make sure everybody that your... Oh, okay. Probably some connection problems. So this will be the last question today. Let's see if Phu Bao can connect with us again. And I will tell you homework for next time, and that will be... Guess what it will be? Finishing the book. So it will be a little easier for you. So that will be 61 until 65. And that's also good for Timo, because Timo just has to read 15 pages. Timo, do you have the electronic version, which has only 65 pages? Is that the version you read?
Yes.
Perfect. So you just have about 14 and a half pages to read. Okay, make sure that you finish it. So we got Phu Bao back. So Phu Bao, can you please tell me what is the same thing that other beliefs speak, or other religions?
Other religions say that God controls this world, and they're never wrong. Nothing is wrong. All they do is right. And Buddhism says they are the truth too. So how do we know that Buddhism is right and the other religions are wrong?
That's right. I actually answered this question quite recently. So finding the truth. Some people, what they do, they just try the different religions. What I would like to suggest to you is that you study those religions and see if they align with your attitude. For example, I personally believe that there is a sense, that there is a meaning why some people are poor, why some people are rich, why some people live long, why some people live short, why some people are successful, why some people are not successful. I believe that there is a reason for that. So that's my attitude. That's part of my character. I believe that the world makes sense. Now, there are people who believe that world does not need to make sense. So for them, Buddhism will be difficult to accept. So that's the way it is, like each person is different. And moreover, with life, we change our attitudes. My attitude now is that the world makes sense. Christianity believes that the world does not need to make sense, because God just decides this and it will be. Decides something else and it will be something else. He will decide that you will become poor even though you were doing only good things whole your life and even worshiping the God, but He will just make you poor because He wants to, because some angel came to Him and said, certainly this one doesn't believe in you. So you need to check him, and then the God will just make you ill and kill all of your cattle and make you homeless just to check whether you actually worship Him. Does that make any sense? Doesn't make sense to me, because why did He try it with Job? Why wouldn't He try it with the other millions of people? Why? Why did He try it with one? Doesn't make any sense. If it makes sense, then He would have to try it with everybody, right? But He doesn't. There are so many evil people who not only that they do not worship the God, but they kill, they steal, commit adultery, tell lies, drink alcohol, but they are immensely rich and successful. Everything they want, they get. Until they die. They live 90 years, 100 years. They get everything they want. And they just die happily and peacefully. Does that make sense? Why would the God do this to them? Doesn't make any sense. But what is more important here is with children. Does it make sense that there are some children who live, let's say, 1 month, they get born, they live 1 month or 2 months or 6 months or 1 year, they suffer excruciating pain and they die? Does that make any sense? Why would the God do it? It doesn't make sense. Now in Buddhism, it's totally opposite. In Buddhism, everything makes sense. In Buddhism, the law of karma, that your actions bring consequence, suddenly makes sense into everything. Well, it's more complicated, and we'll probably get into it later, but as soon as you understand the complexity, you will find out that actually everything makes too much sense. It's scary how it's everything superbly fair. It is scary, and that's why Buddhists want to get free from this world, because everything being fair is going against the human nature, where we want to deceive a little, use a little tricks, get a little advantage. But as soon as you see that everything is so fair, that no tricks actually can trick this fairness, that there is no way how to deceive this fairness, then it's scary. Moreover, it's scary because the fairness is not related only to the present, what we do now, but also to the past. We don't know what we did in the past. Or I don't. I don't remember my past lives. So how do I know whether I killed my mother or father in my past lives? I don't know. I don't remember my past lives. How do I remember whether I stole something big or harmed someone? I don't know. So I cannot do something about it. For example, okay, so in the past life, for example, I would steal someone's clothes. So in this life, I would try to balance it out by giving and donating a lot of clothes, so that hopefully, sometimes it doesn't happen, but sometimes the bad deed and good deeds mix up. So you don't get that much of pleasure for your good deed, but also you don't get that much of suffering for your bad deed, because they mix up. But sometimes they don't mix up, and we never know when they mix up and whether those particular actions will mix up. It's a little complicated. But in the end, everything is perfectly fair. If you count it up, all the ups and downs, you will end up with perfect zero. So that's the Buddhist point of view, and it aligns with my attitude. I believe that world makes sense. Now, for example, in science, if you take the humanist point of view, they do not believe that world has to make sense. Okay, so for them, it's fine. If you believe nothing, or if you believe in God creator, those are two extremes that the Buddha has rejected. The extreme of nihilism, where there is no life after death, and that there is only these actions that we do and no consequences. And then the eternalism, that means that after your life you will live forever somewhere in hell or heaven or whatever. Two extremes. The Buddha says we need to reject these two extremes and go by the middle path. The middle path does not accept extreme, it accepts causality. You will not find causality in other religions. Indeed, that's something you don't have in other religions. Only Buddhism teaches causality. Interestingly, scientists like Buddhism for that very fact, because no religion accepts causality, but science and Buddhism accept causality. But, believing in past lives and future lives, that will probably take some more time. You can read in the books from Ian Stevenson and Jim B. Tucker. Ian Stevenson, Jim B. Tucker. You can read from them about their research about past lives. They visited young kids, 3 years, 5-year-olds, who just started to know, to learn how to say that? They just started to get the skill of speaking, so they could ask the children about their past life and then find out, based on those details, find out whether such person actually existed, and then see if those details match those details of the historical person and the details given by the children. They have conducted interviews like this with about, I think, several thousands of children. All of them are very strictly written in detail. There is even biology related to rebirth, because when they found out that if the child remembers their past life, because not every child remembers, if the child remembers their past lives, and for example they don't have fingers, the child remembers a man or a woman in the past, and they were tortured and their fingers were cut off. The scientists, they find out the person, and they find out that indeed the person's fingers were cut off. Or the person in the past life was shot by a gun into their neck or something, and now the child has a birthmark right there. In Thailand, you know what they do? In Thailand, if your grandma is passing away, you take a, how do you call this? Permanent marker. You take a permanent marker and you mark some place on her body so that in her next life, if she's born as a human and remembers her past life, then you can check according to her birthmark whether it is right there where you made the dot with your permanent marker. And it really works. It really works. It's amazing. Like in Thailand, rebirth is just part of their life. It's amazing. So there is teaching on rebirth, in Hinduism, for example, but not in the way that Buddhism teaches it. In Hinduism, it's a little complicated because they have it mixed up with their concept of castes. So it's different. All right. So different people believe in different things based on the knowledge that they can get, because some people just cannot get the right knowledge. Like when I learned about Buddhism when I was 11 years old, I did not find it interesting at all, but I learned it from a Christian. Then when I was 15, I learned Buddhism from books written by Buddhists, and immediately it was very interesting. I wonder if there is some reason. So it depends. It depends on the people. Buddhism teaches different things because Buddhism is based on clear understanding and experience of the world as a whole. Now, if you take, for example, Muhammad, or if you take Jesus Christ, or if you take Moses, or if you take Baha'u'llah, or if you take Rael, or whoever else is a founder of their religious creed, you will see that they are dependent on what a certain entity tells them. They're just listeners. They're believers just like you. They believe what they have heard, what they have seen. That's it. They don't have the skill to access any time. Whereas for the Buddha, he had the skill to access his knowledge anytime, 24 hours a day, entirely free. He was entirely free to find any information he ever wanted without any difficulty. He was not dependent on an angel or a god or anything else to reveal to them the truth. He had the direct access to truth. The others in all other religions have indirect access to truth because they need to access it through an angel or a god or some signs, some whatever. So this is the difference. And when you have direct access to information, of course, it will be a little different. from the case when it is indirect. And if it is indirect with someone who has vested interest, do you know what's that? Vested interest is when the God or the angel have some expectations from you. So when the God or angel tell you, you now will be believing in the God because the God needs you as a slave. Well, that's a vested interest. It's an interest that gives you gain. And God wants people and beings to worship Him because He believes that He is worthy of that. We believe in God who wants people to worship Him. We believe in such God. We don't have any problem believing in existence of such God, except that we just don't worship that God. Because we believe that we worship someone who the God Himself actually respects. But He will not tell. He will tell to us, to the Buddhists or to the Buddha, but He will not tell to those who respect Him because He doesn't want to lose their respect. It's the personality of the God. He's just like that. He has His weaknesses, such as conceit. Well, if you read Quran, it's all just and only about conceit. Who's more conceited than God? Nobody. You cannot find a being that's more conceited than the God. But the Buddha says that the most conceited beings are dogs, though. It's just for your information. Dogs are the most conceited in the world. But I personally, when I read a Bible or Quran or other religions, I feel like the God is the most conceited being in the world ever. Totally. That's not God from Buddhism, because Christian God kills and steals, whereas Buddhist God never kills, never steals. So yes, we believe in God who wishes others to worship Him, who thinks that He created the world. Well, that He created the world, that He has power over the world. We believe in that God. We absolutely accept and believe in His existence. Totally. We totally accept that He has full power over us. We totally accept that. We just do not accept that it's true. We accept that He believes it, but we don't accept that it's true. So we believe that the God is just misguided, that He's deluded. That's what we believe. But the Christian God has no space in Buddhism. God, such as the one that we teach, will never ever think. He will never ever think of harming anyone, ever. He will never ever think of making anyone sad, even for a second. He doesn't need it. He is perfected in His loving kindness, compassion, mutual joy, and equanimity. Our God is much, much better than any other God in any other religion. Our God is patient, kind. Moreover, He is wise. He wants everyone to be good. And those who are evil, well, He wishes them to become good. He will never ever put anyone into hell. Why would He do it? What's that nonsense? He's busy with His meditation joy. He doesn't need to be... Wow. God is busy with His joy, with His peace. He doesn't have time to put people into hell. Why would He do it? So Buddhist God is much better God to worship than any other God. Why? Because you can be inspired by the Buddhist God. You cannot be inspired by Christian God. You would have to kill and steal. But the Buddhist God is inspirational. So, we are now very much over time. But the Buddhist God is much more inspirational than any other God in the world. So, if you ever want to believe in God Creator, believe in the Buddhist God Creator. In the God who never kills, who never steals, who never deceives. Allah says something. You know what Allah says in Quran? But the Muslim scholars, when I show them, you see, in Quran it's written Allah is the best deceiver, and they're, really? Oh, I didn't know that. What? You're a Muslim scholar, so you should know that. Like, how come that I, a Buddhist monk, will be showing you what's in Quran? They don't know it. They have written in Quran that Allah is a better deceiver than the deceivers who want to deceive Allah. He's written it. It's there. But can you imagine? What kind of leader is that? If you want to follow a God, then you'd better follow a God who does not kill, does not steal, does not deceive, right? Because if you follow a God who kills, steals, and deceives, then probably you will be inspired by that. Just like we see with Muslims. Muslims are so much inspired by the God's teaching on killing. Because the God says that the God will kill. He doesn't tell Muslims you must kill. Well, it's complicated, but most of the time the God says He will kill. But well, that's inspirational. The Muslims get inspired by that God, so they kill. They're not supposed to kill, but they're inspired by their leader, the God. So what about to have a God who does not kill? And in Buddhism, we are absolutely certain that such God exists. There is no like, oh, maybe there is some God like that. Oh, some stories speak. No. I tell you, that God exists. I have absolute faith that there is a God who has full control over this world, who has been first in this world, who is the most powerful in this world. Now, when the Buddha is not here, of course, the Buddha is more powerful, but Buddha is not here. I absolutely believe in that God, and that God is perfect, immaculate in loving kindness, compassion, mutual joy. That means that He rejoices when others rejoice, and in equanimity. That means He is able to accept that others suffer and enjoy based on their previous actions. I have full belief in that God. I have no doubt. I didn't see Him, that's true. But I have no doubt in terms of the belief that such God exists. And I believe that all of you also will benefit very much if you believe in that God. And then in addition to that, in Buddhism, we train ourselves so that if we want, we can become that kind of God too in the future. Or that we can become something even better. Because the problem with the Buddhist God is that He will die one day. He doesn't know it. He doesn't know it. But we know it. Because the Buddha remembered his past lives when he was that God, and he knows that he died. So when he speaks, when he is in connection with that God, then he knows, oh, you're God. Well, I was that God too, and I know that I died thousands and thousands of times when I was thousands and thousands of times exactly the same God as you are. So it's highly probable that you'll die too. So the Buddhist God will die one day, but he doesn't know it. But we know it. So that's the point here. What makes us so different from the other religions? In the other religions, their knowledge is indirect, and it's coming through a source which has vested interest. Whereas in Buddhism, the knowledge is direct. Moreover, in the other religions, the knowledge that you get indirect, you get only as the prophet or as the founder of the religion. In Buddhism, the direct knowledge is achievable not only by the Buddha, but all of you. The Buddha has provided the instruction how to achieve the direct knowledge. That's something you will not have in any other religion. Well, in Hinduism, a little. But in Buddhism, that's the main point. That not only that the Buddha knows, but all of us can know too. If you follow the right instructions for meditation, you can actually remember how in your past lives you were that God who is worshipped today by Christians and Muslims and so on. Now I need to be careful here because God is two. One God which is more of a being and one God which is more of a nature. And modern Christians, especially scientists, do not believe in God as a being. They believe in God as the nature, the fact that there are laws in the world, and that itself is their God. It is called deism. I will write it for you in the chat box. Deism. And deism is the modern form of Christianity. It means that the nature itself is the God. The laws themselves, the way the world works, is the God. So in that case, we could say that kamma, or the conditionality, which is a wider meaning than just kamma, conditionality in Buddhism is their God. In that case, their God is Dhamma, and in that case, we worship the same thing. Because in Buddhism, we do pay respect to Dhamma, to the truth of the world. And they also pay respect to the truth of the world, to the way how world works. So they actually also worship the truth. That's deism. Buddhism is a kind of deism, but with wider understanding of what is the nature. In Christianity, the knowledge of their Deos, of their God, is limited to that what they learn from Bible and so on. Whereas in Buddhism is unlimited because we get the direct access to the knowledge. We are not limited to the source that provides us with the knowledge. Okay, so this was an extended answer to Fu Bao. So what do you think about that answer? Are you satisfied?
Thank you. I'm very happy with your answer.
Nice. Thank you. So I think that was more than enough for today. I've already told you about the homework. So it was a pleasure to see you, everyone. And I hope to see you again next week. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Bhante. Everyone, can you please unmute? Can you please put your hands together at your chest? Howley. Yes. Can you please say goodbye, Venerable Sir?
Goodbye, Venerable Sir.
Nice. Goodbye, everyone.